part 2 of the BuzzBubble interview with Val DiFebo on the BuzzBubble.
Some examples from the Print and Prosper campaign.
Now we're having people tell us their stories about how they're using their money that they're saving. And they said, well, if I can save this much money, look what I can do with it. Some people said they'd go on trips. I don't know if you saw the stuff on YouTube. There's the guy who got the water slide for his backyard. He's got 3 kids, 1 on the way. And but people really like the message and they've embraced it, and the program makes sense because now people are starting to embrace the message and be ambassadors for the message. It changes behavior in store. People go in.
Oh, really?
People used to go into the store, and the salespeople would say, "Yeah, we don't really have that many Kodak printers. We have more of these." And
absolutely. They're not number one. They weren't number one on top of mind at the time.
So people now go in with a whole list of, here's why I want a Kodak printer. Here, or if I can't get one here, then I'm going to go look for one somewhere else. So that's good news for a business that was small relative to the big players in the market.
Who needs to develop new markets for themselves. I mean, all the camera companies are moving to ink and paper and all those things.
Yeah, film is really not a business to be in anymore.
No.
So that's exciting work for us.
Yeah. Is there a microsite that you go directly, or is the best way to find that go to Kodak and find it?
Well, you can go to printandprosper.com.
Printandprosper.com.
Yeah. Okay. Printandprosper.com is where all of our work takes you to. We send you to Print and Prosper because the people who are interested in our message are the ones who want to see how much they can save. Or
I have a kind of a devil's advocate question about that one. Was there any backlash about print paper, using more paper, and was there? I'm sure there was thought that went into it, and was that a consideration? And
these are people. The message is really for people again who want to print. These are people who their kids are printing homework. They want to print pictures. We're not talking about excessive, wasteful, hopefully wasteful printing, But yeah, we thought about it, and this is not like a message to abandon, any social responsibility you have. It's about, if you're a printer.
Well, like you said, you're disappointing your child too. Oh my God! Or I've yelled at them. You printed 10 of those. You know what this costs? Now I don't have to worry about it.
Well, or the worst part is you don't have the ink and you're trying to print something too, right? The ink cartridge is dead.
Yeah,
and
they printed 10 of the Blues Clues, and I have my proposal that won't print.
Exactly. We have a couple of those.
Yeah. What's your perspective on what it means to be a digital agency and all these digital agencies that are now becoming agency of record? And has Deutsch made any moves to address that, that this new mindset that, well, if you didn't start out as a digital agency interactive, you don't get interactive?
Interesting question for us in particular because we have a pretty robust interactive, I wouldn't even call it a department, I'd call it a discipline because to me it's a thinking discipline. Sure. And we've always played in that space, and when I mean played, I mean serious play. I mean, we've done a ton of work for our clients in that space. So I've never thought of, maybe it's my personal thing, but I've never thought of an agency as a digital versus a blah, blah, blah. In our heads, agencies that come up with ideas and can execute them are the agencies that get business. And so if you're coming up with digital solutions for your clients, it means that you understand their business and you've got a great solution. Now, whether or not they can do the print ads that have to be done with that, I'm assuming they're developing those capabilities as well because they need to. Or maybe not print, maybe there is, content on YouTube that they have to provide or whatever. But I have to, we don't think of it as digital versus traditional agencies.
Well, just the fact that you said it's not a department, it's a way of thinking, it's really at the essence of what people are calling digital agencies. But you guys, from what you're saying, this just always been the way. We'll consider everything, and we'll bring everybody into the room at the beginning to say, well, maybe what's the technology opportunities that will make this brand and this new position so much better. And
It's about the ideas. I mean, the people who execute the ideas are very much like a studio in any case. So print ideas get executed, and broadcast ideas get executed, and interactive or digital ideas get executed. But at the thinking level, people are saying, wouldn't it be cool if, when I did this, I got this? Wouldn't it be cool if I saw this when I was doing this? Or if I reached that consumer at this time? The only way to do that is this way. It's not a, wouldn't it be cool if we had an app to go with this idea? That's sort of backwards.
Let's move into social media, because all my viewers, we segment it up, and boy, when social media is in one of my tags, they love eat it up.
Yeah.
But it's it's a big part of where we're living right now in the advertising world. Have you seen the conversation was for the last 10 years moving traditional, which who even knows what that is, into interactive and non-traditional dollars into that space, and now taking dollars and trying to convince clients that this social media is a real thing. It's growing faster than TV grew. It's
Right.
You got to consider it. You got to be there. And is it a challenge to to convince the big brands that that's where they need to be, or and a little about how you've made that move?
I think the vernacular is so much about social media, and there's a big acceptance to the term social media or being socially active and talking to your target or consumer that way. The interesting thing is there still isn't a lot of ROI out there. You still don't see a lot of measurement around social media. So, people are a little bit reticent to spend a lot of money there, but they know they have to be there. So
right.
I don't find the conversations hard. Everybody knows you've got to be there
right.
in the right ways, talking to the right people at the right time. But there's not I wouldn't say there's a widespread move of money from traditional media to right into social media, because everybody's still got bottom lines they've got to look at, and
right.
they still want to know what part of my media mix is working. And so we do a lot of work to measure, what's going on and what pieces of the media are working well or working well together. That's another piece that makes sense for us, is looking. Right. The other piece about social media that I find interesting is it's not just about what you say, it's about what you listen to. And so we're out there doing social media monitoring. So we're
right.
listening to what
Sure.
people are saying, so that, and maybe the reaction's not all right back at you in social media. Maybe there's someplace else that you have to execute a message that responds to what you hear people saying online. So I think there's a listening and an active participation that goes hand in hand.
How do you react to that? Do you have teams or people or a person, that is monitoring that, and then, like you said, you don't always take it head on, but what are some of the processes you are using it to react?
We have a pretty robust data analytics group, and their job is to listen and then to tell us what that stuff means. So they're looking for clues in what's going on with brand equity, how much of the conversation is around this side of the issue versus that side of an issue. It's particularly important when there are product recalls or something's going on with a company and it has nothing to do with what you're advertising, but something came out about the company. Is it impacting their view of a particular product? Is it impacting brand image? And then you bring all those integrated thinkers back to the table and you say, what's the right way to deal with this? Where do they need to hear this message? Where's the wrong place to put it, because it's only this little buzz, and if you make a big deal out of it, it's too much. So,
right.
But that's what people do. That's their job, to sit, to figure it out.
It's such a gift. I think it's such a gift for us now to have total transparency of here's what we did and here's the reaction, and you've seen that change over the past 15 years. And how long you said you were here?
I've been here 17.
You've been here 17 years. Even so, since you've just been here, the accountability was there for TV. You can get accountability, and there were some other things that you could really be accountable for. But it was always, so how's things going? Sales up, and now you can tell them what every dollar did.
Well, so
good,
much,
bad, or indifferent.
Right, and actually it happens in real time now. So much, it's so much more quick. I mean, we've been a retail agency for a long time, and so we worked on a lot of car business. And over the years, we ran ads, and if the dealership business wasn't up over the weekend, we knew the ad didn't work. So,
right.
And notwithstanding, a torrential rainstorm in a certain part of the country, you kind of look at everything and you say, that's what's going on. Now, it's not just, visits to the dealer. You can see tons of information like this.
Right.
So, helps you,
And the interesting thing now is, we've got analytics, which I think are fantastic and such a great tool for agencies. But you still have that old model of success. You can tell, well, a zillion people went to the site, but they didn't go to the dealership. Now what do? We look at the analytics and say, is it a good or a bad thing that we can say, look, but we got this kind of reaction and so many people reacted, and then they should, but where are the sales? How does that cross over?
Well, it takes some study, right? So there are people who go to your website there, and if you can tell where they are, so what products they're looking at, particularly on something that has multiple dimensions to it. You can say, this many people are interested in the price, this many people are interested in the side effects of this product. Some people download information. When we've done pharmaceutical advertising, they download information to talk to their doctor about. So we know they're going into the doctor's office with information and asking questions. Right. So then you start asking yourself, is there a breakdown in the office? What's going on? Are they not getting the drug they asked for? So it's interesting, but there's enough to tell you what's going on so you can go the next step and find out what's happening and make an adjustment. And when something like that happens, you look at your professional efforts and you say, are we telling doctors what we need to tell them so that they can respond to their patients? A, this drug isn't for you, or B, it is for you, and here's why. And that's I'm glad you saw that ad.
That's a great example. Just okay, where is the breakdown, and just we can follow it further, I guess, and figure out where to fix it quicker.
That's it for part 2 of the BuzzBubble interview with Val DiFebo. Tune in next week for part 3. On the BuzzBubble.